Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. The name of the channel is Destined to Prosper. Remember the name, Destined to Prosper. So you are destined to prosper. You just gotta remember that and you just gotta work on it. That you are destined to prosper. Welcome if you're a new subscriber, welcome. If you've been with me for a while, thank you for your support. I haven't been posting regularly because I have other things doing here. As you guys may know or may not know, I have a company here. I got to do things with my company, running around doing other stuff. So, but I want to get more serious about this channel and post more videos as often as I can to give you guys insights about China. And don't forget, whatever you want to know about China, whatever you want to know, whatever is any information you want to get about things happening on the ground here in China, you can ask me. I'll be very happy to tell you. And the ones that I can't, that I don't know, I don't have the information readily, I would find it and I'll get it to you. But after being here for so many years, it's highly unlikely that there are things that a common person would want to know about China that I would not know about, especially if it if it's pertaining to the people and their way of life and everyday things that happens here in China. Anyway, today is about some more common misconceptions that a lot of people, especially in the Western countries, have about China. In the news, as long as I can remember, China has been negatively portrayed. It's getting better now because a lot of people can come to China now. A lot of YouTubers in China now are making videos about China and sending it out there. So it's shedding a lot of light about it through China. But back in the day, when I came here, the first summer before I came here, especially looking at China from Western media, it was kind of scary. But I always like challenges, try new things, new places. And my love for the country of China, and it started with Chinese people. As I said in my earlier videos, it started from when we were kids, watching the karate movies and all that stuff with Bruce Lee and then came Jackie Chan, and I used to watch the old China, the old China, and, the kung fu movies and stuff. It used to fascinate me a lot, It used to fascinate me a lot. And honestly speaking, the first time I came to China, I still had that. Even though I met with a lot of Chinese people, met a lot of Chinese friends, actually had a Chinese family before I even stepped foot in China. But I still somewhere in the middle of somewhere in there, still thinking about the old China with the roof like this and people in the countryside and all that. And especially at that time living in the Western country and watching all the everything, most things that I would watch on TV at that time about China would be from Western media, and then what you see is negative and poor people and the villages and all that. So even though I heard and learned that China is not really like that, but somehow, what the media shows you, especially in the West, it's like stuck there somewhere. You try to like get it out. If you know better, you try to get it out, but can't really get it out until you are on the ground here in China. So my first trip to China, it was gonna cut it short like this. On my flight from Amsterdam to Beijing, it was on a flight, Amsterdam-Beijing flight. On my flight from Amsterdam to Beijing, it's overnight flight, midnight flight. So on this flight, I was sitting, I was sitting at the, I had a window seat, Boeing 747, 400, like up and down, KLM flight. And I was sitting near the stairs to go up to the first class, So, but of course, I was in the economy class, Economy saves a lot of money. So anyway, I was sitting near, like right next to the staircase to go up to the first floor. So it's like a 3 row sitting. I was at the window seat. Then there's a guy. The guy is probably from France, I believe. Maybe he looked French to me. He looked French. Looked like French people. So he sat in the middle, and then there was a Chinese lady sitting in the aisle. I see. So now, after dinner, and then heading to Beijing, most people started sleeping. Some people were watching movies. I was watching movie. I rarely sleep at night. But the guy in the middle, French guy, maybe French, maybe some other place, but from what I can remember, he looked French to me. Ask me, how do French people look? They look like French people. So anyway, the girl was sitting in the aisle, and I'm sitting in the window seat, and then the guy was in the middle. I noticed, focusing on my movie, and I noticed when the girl, like, made a move, like, used her shoulder to, like, move the guy away from her. Started, like, paying attention. I realized that the guy was leaning on the girl's shoulder. I believe was pretending to be asleep. I don't think he was sleeping. Leaning on her shoulder and slowly, slowly, slowly leaning down and down and down and down. And the girl was like very patient with him, like ignored this and tried to avoid this. But, you know, the guy kept leaning, leaning, coming down, coming down, coming down. Then the girl pushed him off. Yeah, that lady could have been about between 28, let's say 27 years old to 30 years old. I don't think she was more than 30. So anyway, and or maybe she's up to 32. Who knows? A good-looking young lady at that time. So anyway, and then I started paying attention to them while I was watching my movie, and then the guy would like pretend to wake up and then and then go back again, and slowly, slowly lean on her, and then and eventually when he started crossing that line again, the girl would push him away. It got to a point where the girl really pushed him hard like this, and then he like felt embarrassed and then looked at me. I pretended like I didn't see them. So it was really embarrassing because I think the girl made some sound when she did that. She's like pissed off now and pushed him away. At this point, I think he felt very embarrassed. Now to pretend like he was really sleeping. After a few minutes, he pretending to be sleeping again and then started leaning on my side now. Okay. And at this point, I realized that this man was not sleeping. This man was just pretending to be sleeping and indirectly hugging up the girl. Okay. So when he started leaning on me, I just tapped him. Bam, bam, wake up. Don't lean on me. Because I knew what he was doing. I mean, if it was the person that was really sleeping, maybe I would have, like pushed him away slightly or nicely. But I've seen what he was doing with the girl, and I've seen what he was trying to do. So I couldn't have it. I can't have some strange man sleeping on my body on a international midnight flight. So I just, hey, don't do that. So he looked at me, said sorry. Okay, sorry. No, just don't do it. But he had to prove his point. And then he tried again. And after a few minutes, tried again. And this time I pushed him hard. Hey, stop it. Okay, he got up, went and stood at the stairs. You know, the stairs like maybe, you know, the aisle between the seats on the plane. You know, very small, about less than 2 feet. Yeah, less than 2 feet. So between the girl's seat, the aisle seat to the stairs is like about 1 and a half meters or so. About that, he went to stand over there and looked at both of us. After 2 minutes or so, he came back again and he sat in between both of us. Just he took back his seat. Then I don't know. I think the guy was drunk. He was drunk, like drunk, and mixing his drunkenness with um with tricks, you know. And he leaned on the girl again. Now this girl pushed him. Boom, go. He looked at her, and then the girl, like with a straight face, don't want to watch him. Like now she's mad. You know, you gotta be polite, you know. But and then I think the girl, you know, like really, really, really exhausted her politeness, you know, because the guy was that guy's was pissing off. So then he leaned on me. I pushed him away. So he looked at me. I wasn't smiling now. I was like looking at him like really with a messed up face. Then he looked at the girl. The girl looked at him the same way. And then he realized that we already caught him on his game. So he shouldn't be doing that. And then with the face that I showed him, I think he thought that, okay, let me not keep messing with these people. He looked at the girl showed him the same face, the Chinese version of my face. So, and then he got up. He got up and went to the stairs, stood there, looked at us for like 20 seconds. Then he went in the back. So I was so mad at this guy because, you know, if you could slap people on the plane, that guy would deserve the slap because what he was doing it intentionally. He wasn't sleeping. He wasn't really sleeping. He got caught leaning on the girl, and then to prove that he wasn't doing it intentionally, he had to keep doing it, and then did it to me. So now, when he realized how mad we both were, he left. Went in the back over there. Went in the back of the plane, I think. I looked at the girl. The girl looked at me. But instead of continued to be very angry now, I just smiled, and then she started laughing. So I said, in the beginning, I thought he was with you. She said, no, I don't know this guy. So we started talking. I got up to go to pee in the back. So when I got over there, I saw the guy sitting in between his friends, or some, I don't know if friends, but sitting somewhere else. But this time he wasn't sleeping. He was watching a movie. That means to prove it. In the first place, he wasn't sleepy. So he was there watching the movie. So I went to the restroom, came out, and asked the flight attendant in the back over there. I said, this guy sitting over there. He's that one. He's sitting. His seat is with me in front. Did he give him a new seat over here, or is he coming back to the front? She said, no. He asked me to give him a new seat, if I can find him a new. So I gave him an empty seat over here. I said, okay, so he's not coming back to the front. She said, no, just have more space over there. I said, okay, thanks. And I told the air hostess or the flight attendant, I said, he was, the guy is a bit harassing me and the other passenger. She said, yeah, I know, he's a little drunk. I said, okay, cool. You sure he's not coming back over there? She said, no. So, okay, cool. Went back. So I told the girl, that guy is not coming back over here. He's sitting in the back. She said, oh, good, okay, let's lift up this, the little seat handrail to what the hell do you call it again? The handrest in between the seats on a plane. So she said, oh, lift this up so we have more space. We did. And then we talked most of the flight, and she had the same problem that I had, can't sleep during night flight. So we talked all the way into Beijing. The girl lived in Switzerland at that time, She was, during that trip, she was coming to China for a month holiday or so, something like that. Yeah. So, but she lived in Switzerland. So she took a flight from Geneva to Amsterdam. Then we met we met on that flight in Amsterdam to Beijing. So anyway, that was in 2008, right after the Olympics. I got my visa from the Chinese embassy. Right, supposed to be around the Olympics, but my friends at the embassy advised me to wait for the Olympics to finish because it's already started and it's very, very congested right now in China. Many people, if you want to have a nice, quiet, trip, you better you wait right after the Olympics you go. And I left right, I think a week or two after the Olympics or so. Yeah. So anyway, when we landed in Beijing, we were going through immigration, passport control, and the girl passed before me and stood outside over there, waited for me. The immigration officer took longer than necessary to process my entry, but it took several minutes, a long time. So during this time, the girl stood over there waiting for me, and by the time I came out, she had a connecting flight back to her home city. Honestly, I don't remember where it was now. So, Miss Beautiful Chinese Lady, if you ever come across this video, if somewhere out there, ever come across this video, remember the guy in 2008 who flew with you to Amsterdam to Beijing, and the incident with a French guy. Get in touch with me. So anyway, yeah, we are. Her flight was because of the delay through the passport control. She had to connect her flight to her city. She told me the city because remember it was my first time in China, so many things were happening at the same time. I couldn't remember the city right now, so she gave me her information, email, WeChat. WeChat wasn't available at that time. Email, phone number, Skype, yeah, and so she had to rush to the other gate to connect her flight, and we said goodbyes, and anyway. So, and I had a connecting flight from Beijing to Guangzhou. Guangzhou was actually the city that I was coming to because I was coming for business. I had 10 days to fill a container, 10 days to go to shop, fill a container of merchandise, and then set the container off to go, and then be back within 10 days because I had things to do, things I had to do. If I stayed more than 10 days, everything would be really messed up. So everything was in a rush. So I had my connecting flights from Beijing to Guangzhou, which is about 2 hours plus, almost 3 hours. The girl rushed to her gate, and then I rushed to. I didn't rush. I had my flight time was a few hours later. Maybe we got to Beijing in the morning. My flight for Guangzhou would be like in the afternoon, I think, maybe around after 1 p.m. or so, maybe. Got to I had like 2-3 hours left. So when the girl left, and then I came outside the terminal building to step my foot on the ground of China, and I couldn't believe my eyes, man. I was like, I looked around, just standing at the outside of the terminal building there. I was looking everywhere, like, is this really China? And then all those movies from childhood, those village movies coming in my mind, and I always wanted to visit the temple, the temple, the temple, the temple, the temple. You know, I always wanted to visit the temples. I'm not seeing anything that look like temples or the village hungry people. I don't see any of those. All I'm seeing is big, high buildings, beautiful cars, beautiful, powerful cars, vehicles, new taxis. I I just couldn't believe that was China, because apart from my the the movies, the films we watch as kids, and then the the media, what they are showing the media about China is always negative. And if they show anything, they show poor people. This is smoke everywhere. Then pollution. What else? If one person kills one person in China, it would be like everybody's killing everyone in China. If a stupid police officer do something wrong in China, like harass people on the road, or do something, then there's the whole of Chinese police is killing people on the street and all this. That all I was hearing, and believe me, every if they keep pressing this in your mind, like every day knocking on this, showing you, somehow it really do register in part of your mind. So I looked around and I'm thinking, wow, is this China? Okay, let me see. When I get to Guangzhou, I'll see. So I walked around the airport, looked around, kept looking, trying. Back in those days, the Sony cameras, Sony camcorder, remember camcorders? Yeah, had those, filming and all that stuff. I wish I can find those videos now. Then it was time for my flight to Guangzhou. The flight was almost empty. It was a Boeing 777, big, large machine. Then we got on the flight, and it was almost empty. And then while flight, about half an hour into the flight, I was a young lady that was sitting like 4 rows behind me. I got up to pee on my way coming back. She said hi. I said hi because there wasn't a lot of people on that flight. It was like empty flight going to Guangzhou. So